and where we left off last time. And unless you have any objections, I would just summarize a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, so last time you had finally dared to confront the worm that walks, that horrible shape of a swarm of leeches that vaguely resembled a humanoid. And you cornered him or it in its office, and then found another secret door that would lead you to a strange room where the shower, as Lucca and Augrael have started calling it, that weird necromantic energy band that span across multiple levels at this point. And it was also present in this room, and it even seemed to like spark from a creature that was tied to a table, a dwarf that was in what looked like permanent torment, kept right on the line between dying and living, getting horribly hurt by that necromantic energy, and at the same time healed, but only after he could suffer through the pain of those wounds. Just a terrible, terrible situation to be in. Guarded by a will-o-wisp, he was finally freed by the party, and after just mumbling something about wanting to be taken home, he finally collapsed. And Ottardo, you are relieved and somewhat surprised, maybe, to realize that this is the dwarf that fits the description. This is who, what feels like a long, long time ago, you were hired, or Arthur was hired to find this missing person, and you take him back to the Rowdy Rockfish, where his mother, Brelda Venkavale, is overjoyed, so happy to see him again, feels validated because people have stopped believing that Lasta, as she calls him, Lasta Venkavale, would still be out there. But she never lost hope, and she is very glad to see him. In fact, she's so glad to see him that she hands you, actually turns around and or on the back of the Rowdy Rockfish over the counter, over the bar, there is a sturdy shield emblazoned with an angry-looking rockfish, and she hands it to you as a reward.
Ooh, sturdy.
Very sturdy. Minor sturdy.
Slightly.
Yeah, slightly sturdy. Yeah, so that she impresses on you that it's a family heirloom, but she will not take no for an answer. Just hands it to you, gives it to you. It's yours. If you don't want to carry it into battle, put it on the wall just as a memory of a deed well done, and that is it. Okay, so like I said, I was kind of summarizing here, so I'm assuming that we find ourselves back in Otari at that point. We'd be early in the afternoon. Another rainy Rova day. What do we want to do?
First thing first, we should heal Ottardo.
Yes, we should do that.
If only I had realized that we would be dismissing that band of, I suppose I should call it void energy. I would have at least taken one last... Actually, I think I did. I was hanging out.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm in
One more for good time's sake, right?
One more. But alas. So 'tis.
Yeah, well, someone will take care of Ottardo's wounded conditions if there's any.
He does, actually.
before that.
Oh, you don't have to.
Oh, and just to avoid confusion, I updated the rule set, so you might see a few more remaster changes.
Oh, are we
Oh.
on remaster now?
Well, not entirely, because the adventure is still legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I am
So-
no longer half-ork.
Yeah, I'm happy for you guys to use the remaster options, but I will continue to use the stat blocks as they are provided to me.
Awesome.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay, your enthusiasm for this makes me second guess that decision, but
I don't think
No,
I have
no.
chill touch anymore. Needs something else now.
There's a couple cool things that I don't think would break the game, but they are useful. Like
Yeah.
the focus point things. You can now just refocus continuously to get all the points back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't
That
even know
would-
that was a thing before, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. And I have actually also come around on the one thing that I didn't like about the remaster, which is the fact that creatures now have to roll for grab and stuff like that. Because I realized, and I think you also pointed that out to me at the time, Sam, that those creatures usually have pretty high athletics, so they have a good chance of crit succeeding, which is a lot worse than just
Yeah.
regular grab. So
Although there have been a few that people spotted that have now the grab but don't have an athletic score, like they're not trained in it. There's still a
see,
few inconsistencies that Pies will have to fix out there.
yeah. So like I said, I'll keep using my regular stat because I won't keep the things that aren't in front of me straight anyway. So I'm just gonna run with legacy, except for
Is your map
Yeah.
showing okay? Because I have only dice.
maybe you want to refresh.
Yeah, it looks fine for me.
Refreshed it.
It didn't automatically like update spells, right? Like I have to go in and manually adjust to the new spells.
I don't know. You were so there's if you go to the settings tab, there is a button called Remaster Changes. So if you're looking for the new name of something, you can find it there. So for example, on the
Oh, there
spells
can
tab,
be.
it says
Yeah,
Chill
like
Touch,
produce
Void
produce
War.
flame isn't pretty sure.
Yeah, Produce Flame is now called.
It's now ignition.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through my spell list and make sure it's all updated. Anyway.
Yeah. There are a few minor things that might trip us up, like some of the language names have changed.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think we'll be okay for most of
Ooh,
them.
Ottardo is now holy.
Oh, right. So you're part
I think
of
it
the
just means that his strikes have the holy trait, which would trigger weakness to holy. It's basically the old good damage, evil damage.
right. All right. Curtis, were you able to fix your?
Yeah, it's still black.
Okay. Well, I don't think that's on my end. I can try preloading the scene. Maybe that makes a difference. But
It blinks the the yellow warning message when I refresh.
and what does it say?
1 second, I will refresh again and I will tell you. And of course, it doesn't appear now when I actually need to see it.
Okay. Well, as long as it's not an actual tactical map, I think we're
Yeah, it should.
gonna
I mean, it worked fine in the dungeon itself, so it'll be fine.
Okay.
I
Alright.
didn't catch the beginning. Are we still in the dungeon?
Oh, sorry. I didn't see that you had stepped out. So I had summarized that you found that dwarf chained to the table, somehow being involved in that void energy band, and that you, Ottardo, had recognized him. His description fit the description of the dwarf that was missing for quite a while now, and that you had been hired, or that Artu and you had been hired to investigate that disappearance. And you take him back into Atari, where his mother, Brelda Vankervale, at the Rowdy Rockfish, is overjoyed to see him back, and hands you a sturdy shield, minor, that you will see in the chat,
Oh,
emblazoned with a rockfish. And she insists that you keep it, even if you don't want to use it, then at least put it on a wall and forever remember the great, noble, and helpful deed that you've done.
well, Ottardo is very grateful for that.
I figured you might be.
Well, if nobody objects, he will strap that onto his arm.
I object.
Grounds.
Need something to protect your bones? I thought they were sturdy enough.
No, I'm just objecting. General principle, a rockfish is a stupid emblem.
Everyone in the bar turns around and looks at you.
Oh, I didn't realize we were in the bar.
A rockfish looks kind of badass. You know, with that spiky tail dorsal fin.
Lucca thinks better of his objections and keeps his thoughts inside his skull.
All right. So, what do we do? It is, as I said, it is early afternoon. It's about 1 p.m.
Well, I suppose we should first, now that we have fixed Ottardo, we should celebrate the happy rescue of Lazda, and of course we should find post office and well, I forgot the words, like let Arthur know immediately that our quest was not in vain. We're done with this dungeon. We can go home. Yes, thank you. Happy end.
Credits roll. And then the post-credit scene is pretty dramatic, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. You'll drink for free tonight. Brelda is gonna cover your tab. If you wanna clink your mugs to Lasta's rescue. She's very. She's throwing around for the entire bar. Everyone who's there right now gonna be able to join in, and that might easily turn into quite the revelry. So if that's how you want to spend the rest of the day, that's totally fine.
Some of wholly supports the revelry, so yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, we do need to unwind.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's what you do. And even Lasta gets dragged out from his room. I mean, he's still pretty beaten up, but he's a dwarf, so he won't say no to. He won't spit in a mug, I guess. Yeah, people are kind of prop him up, and by early evening, everyone is in each other's arms, singing and swaying and drinking merrily. So I'm happy to just kind of skip to the next day, unless there's anything you want to do that tonight.
It's okay.
Okay. So the next morning, maybe doesn't start as early as it usually does. Still raining though. It's not the nicest drova you've experienced. And you all kind of meet up again. I don't know. Let's say where did you guys end up after this very very alcohol fueled debauchery? Where do you wake up the next morning?
I think I need to consult the randomization table.
Well, imagine there's a good chance that it would be on the floor of the bar.
Even Ottardo? Would have expected Ottardo to be a little more reserved, but maybe even Ottardo needs to unwind sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm still discerning some of my new spells. A few things changed for me, so I'm still trying to get my head around them.
Mhm.
But yeah, Lucca probably didn't participate too much in the imbibing. Doesn't do much for him these days. So he probably honestly just went home. He's got a lot to think about recently, so deep in pondering.
So he kind of
Maybe
snuck
you know
out.
what? Maybe he spent the night sitting out on the dock,
Mm-hmm.
looking out over the inner sea.
Right, watching the rain falling onto the open sea.
Yeah.
Mm. All right. And Soma is just in a random place.
Yeah, I think
Soma
so.
probably like, yeah, I would think that Soma probably like when things started winding down at the Rockfish, Ottardo already sleeping peacefully on the floor. Soma probably like went with the handful of people that just couldn't get their fill yet out into town.
Well,
And
she probably would eventually find her way into the. I can't forget the name.
Corksnook.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean that's obviously the best place to end the night. There's nothing that stays up later than the Crooksnook, and so yeah, I guess you get woken up with a mop full of smelly water and a big smile by Yinyas Mera, who says way too loudly, "Good morning, sunshine." And then you pick yourself up,
Yeah.
dust yourselves off. You know, maybe you retrace your steps to figure out like where did I leave Ottardo? And Ottardo does so from the other side, and eventually you meet up again, maybe nursing your wounds. Today is Moon Day. I think that's a market day, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe you head there to get like some strong imported coffee. And that's most likely where Lucca would run into you again as well. And so what would Lucca see if he approaches you, the two of you, on the market?
What Cheliax and coffee, of course.
Yeah, well, on one hand, Soma is no longer a stranger to copious amounts of liquid amnesia juice to cope with her experiences in the dungeon, but yesterday was a bit too much even for her American constitution. And so, I mean, in the place where she usually wears mascara on her eyes are just dark naturally. Yeah, and And she speaks very, very slowly at the point, trying to keep her eyes closed. So, I shall never try again to outdrink a dwarf, let alone several of them.
That would be wise.
What constitution do I have? I think I can outdrink a dwarf if he was a weak one.
All right. Yep. So
Well, lovely evening. Yes.
You see that Lucca, his attire is completely soaked. He's just sitting out in the rain. Doesn't seem to have noticed too much. And he looks around and he's like,
Did we lose Augrael somewhere in the revelry?
I think he was still in Crook's Nook when I left him there.
Right. Well, never mind. I'll have to address him at a later time. But for now, for the two of you, I've been reflecting on the way that things went yesterday in that torture chamber or whatever it was, that dwarf. There was a considerable amount of confusion, especially between myself and you, Ottardo, and for that I simply wanted to apologize. You see, I was ordering you around and making commands and demands and whatnot, and well, it's clear that there was a lack of clarity in those commands, and I entirely take the blame for that. I shouldn't have relied on your common sense to interpret what I was saying to you in a reasonable fashion. I should have been more explicit. So,
Well, that's fairly reasonable. Yeah, I mean, nothing that we have experienced so far has been described as common sense, so there's no reason to rely on it today.
indeed. And in the future, I shall endeavor to be very exacting when I tell you to do something.
You changing
Sounds
scenes?
good.
We're back. I thought we were going somewhere, but we're
Yeah,
back.
I also thought so. But it's not only me.
no, sorry, I just messed with the module settings and then it restarted. Sorry about that. So,
Well, anyway, your apologies are accepted, and well, everything is going to be fine. Yeah, but we moved into Revelry, so I think now when we have relatively a fresh head, in the morning we should move to the second phase and send a message to Arthur.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be pleased to know that we've accomplished our mission.
He has also some news for us. I already forgot what we asked him to.
By our mission, you mean the rescue of that dwarf?
But yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes, I mean, I'm very sure he would be very pleased to know that his leads were actually correct and we didn't waste our time in the Gauntlight.
Oh.
We'll say Gauntlet.
Yes, you're right. That was not a waste of time at all, turning off the void energy, infinite source of healing for myself and Augrael. good
well,
thing that
is
it's
it-
gone now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was literally powered by Forsaken Child, so...
We didn't know that at the time, and honestly, if we had never found that secret door, we would have continued to go on not knowing that. But it's a good thing we found the secret door, and it is a good thing
Although,
that we have rescued that poor dwarf and his rockfish.
I mean,
That shield is really worth it.
I think if it was powered by Lasda sitting on that altar, I mean, do you think that that pillar would have extended into the lower levels? Because was it extended to lower levels? I think so.
We'll have no way of knowing now.
Actually, it doesn't extend.
We didn't see anything like it.
Yeah, I mean,
The
I
one
think it
level
was
below.
roughly above the room with a giant bone golem, right? I don't have that space perception to get that.
Yes. When this is all said and done, I've been thinking about trying to create a sort of like a comprehensive three-dimensional model of the interior of this place, just so I can get my head around how it's all laid out down there.
Well, I guess we can. I think we didn't do any mapping, right?
We did obtain maps for the top 3 levels.
Right. We now have. Oh yes, we should probably consult those and make sure we didn't miss anything.
Hmm.
Good point.
So,
So I guess that would be our next project. We will construct a 3D model of the Gauntlight. That was
To
about
pick
you.
up some sort of like mold earth spell or something to like shape it.
I was thinking about to use the silent image to do that, but I don't have silent images.
Or I could like whittle it out of wood.
What?
so what do you do?
Well, can we look over the maps and like see if there's anything that we've missed?
Okay, so you want to find a dry spot somewhere and do that?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like some at the market. There's probably like some sort of pavilion, canvas, roof that you can duck under, and a wooden bench with a rickety table where you could spread out those blueprints and pour over them. Is that what you want to do?
Or we could just go to my office, with a proper desk and chairs.
That's another option.
You're going to hang this next to your law degree, the shield, that is.
Oh no, this one. It's really tough. It'll be with me. Maybe when I
see.
retire.
Well, if the shield itself is in good condition, perhaps we can see about maybe repainting something a little more intimidating on there.
Okay, so you all move to Ottardo's office.
Yes.
I think so.
Bickering along the way.
All right. Okay. And you go through the maps, and you carefully study them, and you find on the first floor, the ground floor, there's only that secret door that you already discovered that leads down to the next level. then yeah, you continue, carefully looking through that, and you're trying to find points of reference so that you can say like, okay, so this was that room and this was this room, and it's maybe you've already gotten the sense of it as you were exploring it. I'm sure you were, but it's like having this all laid out in front of you just makes you realize what scale this whole construction actually is. And then on the library level is where you spot the first the first corners that you haven't yet explored. Let me see what would be a good way to describe that to you. Let's see which one we're going to start with. Okay, so do you remember that scriptorium room where there's a ghost in there that was making you work, and then you kind of tricked it and got away, and you had seen it step through the wall on the eastern side, and that's when you like used the opportunity to run off. And as it turns out, in that section, there's actually a door that is like there's a special little key attached to it, like a map key that marks it as apparently maybe well hidden or secret even. So that's definitely something you hadn't yet discovered. And then there's also remember the room where you fought that ghoul priestess with that big statue that you had taken down? That that had these broken display cases and was a pretty big room compared to most of the others. And it had this sort of like T shape, and on the left or westernmost edge of that T, there's another door that's marked, and there's just a small, tiny chamber, like 10 by 10 feet, that is behind it. And I should say that the chamber that attaches to that scriptorium room wasn't very big either. It was maybe like 15 by 15. So there's those two rooms, and then there is let me see something you haven't. Yeah, there's also just regular rooms that you haven't explored yet, it looks like. So let's see. So how do I describe that? What's the best way to describe that? So coming down the staircase from the first floor, turning towards the west, there was this misty creature that you had encountered, and then
The one with like squid arm, sort of.
yeah, exactly, this beautiful fella
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
And to the north of it, the chamber that it dwelled in, there was a hallway, and for some reason you had never gone further north. There was just a regular door, but you've never really explored past this point. And it looks like there are two smaller rooms that still are attached to that hallway. Going south, you had found that haunted reading room where I think that was the first time that you encountered Otari's green spectral manifestation. And across from that room, I'm not entirely sure if you had explored that. The door is closed, but it's possible that you closed it. Do you remember if you explored that room across from there?
No idea.
Yeah. Okay. Either way, there's a
We were
small
rushing
room.
to follow Otari at the time.
I think so too. Yeah. So across from that reading room, there's another small room, and in that small room, there are another two secret doors. And then finally, there is one more secret door that leads south from Augrael's room.
Why didn't he tell us about it?
He must have never noticed it. And finally, on that level, in that reading room area, where the band had come down, there is another secret door that leads to a also circular chamber, but much smaller than that central circular chamber where you saw that void energy. So there's that. And I, for some reason, need to figure out how to...
And to
Sorry.
think, I had thought we were being quite thorough. But look at all of this.
Yeah, it's like I said,
Believe
it
me,
makes you
Augrael,
realize.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it makes you realize how vast this whole complex it is and how easy it is to miss a nook somewhere. Okay, I'm having a hard time here figuring out how to get rid of a... Oh, I see. Yeah.
You think Augrael has been deliberately misleading us about that chamber, or had he just not noticed the secret door for the countless decades that he was lingering in there?
So being Ghoul's advocate here, I'll assume that he just didn't think it was important.
He was very absorbed in his books until we came along, so perhaps
He
just
also
never
he
took his
also
nose
maybe was
down.
just a bit happy to go explore elsewhere too.
Perhaps. Well,
Okay.
there's also one other thing that I would dearly be curious to investigate, and that is the top of the Gauntlight, as we've, as of yet, still not traveled up for all of the stairs we've taken down.
By the way, I believe it is now the new week. Does the gauntlet itself now glows or not? What was the status of all those ghostly lightings that actually heard some adventurers go explore there?
Well, you only really see them at night. Last night, none of you certainly paid attention to it. I mean, Lucca had been staring out at sea, and it was raining the whole time, so the view was pretty poor. So you could keep an eye out tonight, but until then, you just don't know. But I wasn't done yet because there was one more level, I believe, that was part of the plans.
Oh, I thought that was all of it.
Did I say it was the first 4 or the first 3 levels?
You said
No?
3.
So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. Then that's all I have to tell you. There are definitely no more secret rooms anyway.
I could have sworn there was another page here, but I must have dropped it into the sea.
I've heard there used to be spells that used to conceal pages, so check with the detect magic.
Well, should we? I imagine it would do well to lay eyes on some of these chambers and make sure that we haven't missed anything essential, either in terms of information that we might use, or perhaps more tortured prisoners being locked away behind hidden secret walls and such.
But before we go, I think it's Soma will treat her status.
Yes.
Oh,
No, she won't. Hangover, yes. Forgot to.
Ah, okay.
Never mind.
And it looks like
is it
Alia.
Birke passing by the window?
I believe there's Birke coming, running towards the market. No, they're knocking on Ottardo's door, I guess. Is that right?
I guess so. I'm not sure what's going on.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
The microphone is a little cutting in and out.
It sounds almost like a kid's voice or something.
Yeah, seems. I can see the green frame come on, but it like goes in and out.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yeah,
Yes.
now it's good.
Yeah.
Better? Aha, yeah. I had to plug in the headphones.
Yes. All right. So,
Sorry for being so late.
no worries, but it's perfect timing because Birke had been asked to research or to do research at the Dawnflower Library about a creature that you had encountered, which was mostly made up of a writhing mass of leeches that formed its body. And
I
the group
remember
had,
that and going to the library, to the
yes,
bookseller.
yes, and how we had explained your absence was, or Birke's absence was that we said that she was still doing the research, and the rest was just kind of like seeing if they can find something else out in the ruins. So now they are back at Ottardo's office, and at this point, I would think that you probably were looking at all of your usual meeting places, and finally made your way over to Ottardo's office, and excitedly knock on the door because you found out some interesting stuff about that creature. So it just goes boom, 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 and Ottardo will probably open the door for you, and you'll see the group poring over what looks like maps or blueprints of some kind. And yeah, so there you are.
Oh my god, Birke, it's you! Did you, how have you been doing? I think I almost thought we lost you.
Something that I think will be of a lot of interest to all of us. Something on that creature, that writhing mass.
Oh, that one! Yeah, we got him. It's okay.
What? It's dead?
Well, I mean, in a
As
manner
far
of
as we
speaking,
can
it was
tell.
dead long before we got to him, but now, yeah, I mean, we made sure.
And what did I find about this creature?
At this point, doesn't matter anymore. It's a little
Okay,
disappointing.
it's
A
dead.
little disappointing to you.
Oh, well. Let's hope we don't run into one of those again, but if we do, I think we'll be better prepared. Doubly so, it seems.
Never leave Atari without at least 5 alchemist fires. That will be the rule.
I think that's sound advice.
Did you hear the news, Birke?
What news? I've been locked up in the library for a while. I must confess I've been a bit
There have been a
preoccupied with
huge.
other matters.
You didn't hear the huge rivalry? I mean, I think I almost sang. I was so drunk.
Yeah, Birke, you might notice that there's like a distinct smell in the air, and both Ottardo and Souma, like they avoid looking at the sunlight outside. They both seem to
Are they
be under the
hungover?
weather. You could, yep, you would think so.
And you didn't invite me.
Well, we couldn't get a hold of you. And I mean, everyone was excited, and one thing led to another, and then we were drinking. You know what happens?
In Otari, yes. I must say I do. So what other news from the lighthouse?
Well, I mean,
Well, we found him.
yeah, young Lavda is back home.
You know, the person we were told was
Looking
missing.
for? Yeah, I mean, well, Lavda Bankerwell, the guy who used to own the Rowdy Rockfish. I mean, and as she said, like, she points at the shield near Sir Ottardo, like, yeah, see? Rockfish.
Well, we do get a lot of interesting people coming around here, it seems.
Well, Ali, if that doesn't make sense to you, that's not just you. That also wouldn't make sense to Birke, really. She probably doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
That what significance a rockfish has. So, if you're puzzled, feel free to be puzzled.
I am genuinely, so it's not all acting, role playing. So what are we doing now? Celebrating, enjoying our success?
We already
That
done
was,
that.
yeah. You
Yeah,
missed the fun part. You're here for the work today.
yeah. Sort of just in time for the
Always here to
misery.
clean up the mess. What about you, Lucca? Can your old bones still enjoy the revelry?
Well, I mean, I have less cause for celebration than others. I mean, of course, it is a great noble deed that we achieved, retrieving the dwarf of the Rockfish clan, uh, or something. Um, but unfortunately, in doing so, we've deactivated the endless source of void energy, which practically would have allowed me to endure all manner of destructive forces and exist in unlife into perpetuity. But never mind that loss. We've got a nice shield, so we should really get back to it and put that shield to good use. You know, let's really put Ottardo in there so that some things can try to take his head off, and he can say no. Put a shield up.
Just a hint of what is it? The word for that, like not regret, but
Passive
accusatory.
aggressive? I'm not being passive aggressive. You're passive aggressive.
Resentment. That's what I was looking for.
Touch-
Yeah.
Much of it.
I do hear your bones squeaking peculiarly this time, Lucca.
Yeah, well, I did spend all night sitting out in the rain, so
Well, shall we make plans for our next delve into the vault?
of course.
Tuck up and go.
And maybe start by the upstairs this time?
Yes, yes, that would be lovely.
Very well. And after that, we'll check those nooks and crannies that we missed, and after that, we'll make an executive decision if we want to go deeper. At least today.
Okay, you gotta give me a second then, because I did not necessarily prepare that part of the complex, so I have to refresh my memory on that.
We do need a couple of hours to actually heal up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should be easy enough to do. So don't worry about that. I'll just forward us a couple of hours, and that should be fine. Just trying to figure out. Sorry, it's gonna take a minute.
So does being hungover affect the stats of Ottardo and Souma?
Someone doesn't think so. She will not be singing hungover. She will be just playing very mournful music, very quietly.
Okay.
A bit annoying. Why can't I?
Okay. All right. So you spend a couple of hours in town and to rest and recuperate as best
Having breakfast.
having breakfast, trying to keep it down, and eventually you make your way back to the Gauntlight. All right. And you're saying you want to head up to the top of the Gauntlight itself, is what you're saying? So I'm gonna right. So you make it into the ground floor level, and just so that everyone remembers what that looks like, you should find your tokens right here. So to get up to the top of the Gauntlet, you have to climb the stairs in this circular room with smooth walls. The walls themselves are painted in a light gray. There's, to the extent that there's no indication of any seams between the blocks of stone anymore, kind of all painted over. The iron stairs that wind upward along the curved walls seem to be in still serviceable condition. You can, if you look up, you'll see that they terminate at a trapdoor in the ceiling, and it's almost 100 feet up. There's a red blood stain on the floor at the center of the room that glistens, and it almost looks like a pretty big creature, like human-sized creature, must have bled to death given the amount of blood here very recently. But there's no body anywhere.
I think a memory comes to me that something involving the Rose Guard. Can I try to recall knowledge about if this was some notable place for the former party?
Yeah, give me
I have
either
Rose Guard lore skills.
yeah, Rose Guard lore is perfect. That should be blind in the future, but you can also try a society check that should come into the chat. There it is. Try that one blind. Okay. Thanks to your untrained improvisation, you do remember that the Rose Guard, like the story goes, that the Rose Guard battled Belcora all across the complex of the Gauntlet, but it was in the actual Gauntlet itself, inside that tower, that they finally defeated her. So it's very possible, likely even, that you're standing right in the place where almost 5 centuries ago, mighty Belcora fell to the Rose Guard.
Except this blood is fresh.
It looks
Oh.
fresh, yeah.
I
Does
don't-
it look like it's been dragged anywhere?
What's that?
Does it look like the body could have been dragged somewhere?
No, you don't see any like marks that would indicate such.
If I remember correctly, this blood was fresh when last we came here many days ago. So I suspect that this is some supernatural manifestation, perhaps of a haunt.
I mean, Belcora was a very powerful witch, so it won't be surprising that the place of her demise would be somehow marked for posterity.
Blood but no body. Body but no blood. I say, looking at Lucca.
Don't look at me. uh,
Not suspiciously, just curious.
He kind of like, well, of course you can't see it behind his mask, but he kind of side eyes Birke for a second. But then he says, well, he'd like to make. Is there a role he could make, like a spirits lore or a religion check or something, or an occult check?
Either would work.
Right. I'll roll.
That like trips you off. But also maybe you pace around that puddle and you see that it almost looked like it's the top of a deep pool, but you know that that can't be. And maybe you even like, since you're pretty confident about your conclusions here, you kind of take out maybe one of the longer bones in your possessions and you like dip it into the blood and you pull on it and to like drag it out of the pool, and you see like it almost behaves more like slime in the sense that it like as soon as you let go of it, it starts getting pulled back into that puddle shape. And yeah, it definitely strikes you as some sort of otherworldly manifestation, but it seems to be inert. Maybe it needs, maybe it needs the right circumstances to be triggered fully. Your presence doesn't seem to set it off. Maybe it's the phase of the moon. Maybe it's the time of day. Some circumstantial trigger doesn't seem to be in effect right now.
This manifestation, it is just waiting to be triggered by something, though the precise nature eludes me. Perhaps, if it is indeed, as you say, Suma, the spot where Belcora met her end, some uh, artifact or a bit of remains associated with her could activate it, or perhaps one of her slayers, a member of the Rose Guard, or perhaps simply a time of day, phase of the moon, or alignment of the stars. I could not begin to guess. But the point is, we should be wary of it, now and in the future, for it seems to be just waiting.
Okay.
Okay. Now you ascend the stairs, I take it, given your tokens.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you climb up, the stairs creak and they sway a little bit, alarmingly at times, but they do seem quite sound, regardless. Um, they wind up about 90 feet and then terminate at a bronze trap door that is locked.
Oh, it's locked.
Well, we do have some keys.
Oh, we do. We do.
Yes, we do.
Well, tell me about your keys.
Oh shit, I forgot. My tools are broken. Never mind.
Oh. Well, would you like to hammer on the door a bit, or should I try to set it aflame?
Well, Oma goes through a couple of keys she has on her, but none of them fit.
Shouldn't try and give it a kick? Perhaps wedge the disarm on the hinge, see if I can pull it open?
Great
Can
idea,
you,
Birker. That's what
can
you're
you
here
check
for.
our pockets, maybe?
My pockets.
Yeah, I'm sure we collected quite a few keys. Maybe you have
have-
one or
I
two.
don't think I have any keys.
I have a large silver key and a round key.
You try them both, neither of them fits the lock.
Maybe the retribution axe is the key. Should I give that a try?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay,
Go
no,
for
but
it.
instead I'm gonna try and stick the blade of the Gisam and try to, of course, use force, but cleverly, not brute force.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me see. It's a bronze trapdoor. So
I like
where's that again with the materials for items? Material statistics. Where do we have bronze? Iron or steel? Uh, I guess it would behave like thin iron or steel. I think bronze is not as solid as iron or steel. So, okay, I got my stats. Let's see your damage.
Let's go.
Oh, hi.
Heyo.
That's a good way to start the day. All right, so you like poke it with your gizarm and roll the damage. Critical. Well, I guess you can't really crit it, but you could roll multiple times anyway. Okay, yeah. So with just a single powerful upward wipe, you bash against the door and it pops open.
Yeah, see, that's doing things with your head.
Doing things overhead, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Um,
head and strength.
and yeah, so and then you like pull yourself up and into a cupola. You see, you're at the top of the lighthouse now. There are rows of black metal bars that kind of encase the chamber like a cage. There are, there is that trapdoor in the floor, but otherwise the room appears to be empty, except for a roughly human-sized encasement of glass and iron. That must be Gauntlight's lantern.
Yeah, you said empty, and I was like, there should be a light here.
Yeah, but there's no light. There's the fixture that could potentially be a light, but you see nothing. Like there's no bowl or anything there. It's just the glass and iron encasing, but there's nothing
Okay.
in there.
Can we try to look inside? Because I mean, something was glowing there, or unless it was just like maybe there is some sort of hole through because for the beam of negative energy to pass through. If that was it.
Yeah, do you have any what would work here? Maybe something like survival, any sort of skill that would like spatially make you aware of the relative architecture here?
Thomas has no spatial awareness whatsoever.
Yeah.
But that does sound like survival.
Yeah. Or maybe just a straight up wisdom, but then I guess you can just roll
It
survival.
used to be
with it.
called dungeoneering, but no such
was in the
things
good old
exist
days.
anymore.
No. Yeah, if anyone has survival or any lore or anything they feel like might be
I have
helpful
nothing
here.
relevant, actually.
Well, Soma, actually, with your untrained improvisation, once again, you would think that it's. Oh yeah, and Birke is going to confirm your hypothesis here that you notice that first of all the chamber is roughly the same size as those rooms that had the energy band in there. It's also circular, and you're pretty sure that it's also aligned in space, that you're literally on top of where that energy band used to be.
But it's strange that we did not see it on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe
the light hasn't been on while we've been here.
No, I mean the unholy shower. We saw it on levels 1, 2, and 3.
Well, yes, that's my point. The light has not been on. If this, if we work off of this hypothesis, then it would seem not unreasonable to suspect that void energy is somehow powering the light. Direct alignment is projecting energy, so on and so forth.
No, but
But the
what I
light
mean
has
is that
not been active.
when we first came in, we did
Yes.
go to the base of those stairs, and we did
Yeah.
not see the unholy light at the base of the stairs.
Well, yes. That's
But
because the light was not active.
but 2 days afterwards, or to say it differently, every day we go down. Well, maybe we don't go near those stairs yet.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe the blood stops it.
Maybe the blood absorbs it. Yes, possibly something.
It-
My
it's a
my
cross.
theory is that the negative energy or the void energy would project up through the area and right up the tower into this light during times when the Gauntlight has been activated. But since it is not active, the band is not extending so far. What is stopping it, I could not say. But this is fairly wild speculation, so. I cannot help but notice the fact that this, is this made of glass? Oh, Simon's muted. He's mentioned, like, iron bars and whatnot.
Yeah, you
So,
mentioned glass and iron.
yeah. Oh, okay, he did mention glass. I cannot help but notice how this, is roughly, how do I put this? Human-sized.
Do you think they
If,
had a person here too?
if that dwarf is being used to power whatever terrible magics were employed here, I cannot help but wonder if some other poor soul has been used to power the light in the past as well.
Well, would not put that past Belcora. After all, she was very evil and very determined to cause as much suffering as possible.
Sorry, I'm back.
We were drawing hypotheses.
Yep. Very well warranted.
It is a lovely view from here, though. You can see straight across the fog fen.
You can. It's a straight shot to Atari.
And I almost feel on a clear day. Actually, Lucca's a little curious. He like looks out to the, I guess, the east, and he squints, and he's kind of curious, like if he can see Absalom from here.
How does the skeleton see?
He doesn't. He squints metaphorically.
I mean, it is once again a very rainy day. It is about 75 miles to to Absalom from here. So what's the range?
Probably not.
How far can you see on a clear day?
Well, with sufficient elevation. I mean, we're not even that high, I imagine, but
Yeah.
from a respectable height, you can see about 10 to 15 miles usually on a clear day. So, no.
Yeah. But I'm sure that, like, even though it is raining hard and there's no way that you could see that far, it's kind of like it makes you wonder if behind that curtain of rain all the way in the distance is Absalom, unaware that the Gauntlight may have set its sights on that city.
You know, I haven't done this yet. Luke is gonna throw out a detect magic.
You don't sense any magic.
He's gonna read aura, see if there's anything on the light.
And interestingly, nothing.
It's suspiciously unsuspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Remarkably unremarkable.
Precisely.
Is there a sort of lens mechanism present?
You would think so, but it doesn't appear to be anything like that.
So
It
it is.
almost looks like there may be, like, if you're looking at that glass and iron encasement, you see some like openings as of like maybe there's some other fixture that could be placed in, but it's all conjecture. There's nothing that you can actually see.
So it is just
Oh,
a
it's of a mechanical nature.
glass cylinder instead of a lens.
What's that?
So it is just a glass cylinder instead of a lens.
Have we seen any mechanical objects that would fit in there?
I can't say I can recall anything.
Not from the top of my head, I don't remember now.
Well, maybe we can go back and explore those few rooms we haven't yet,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll find something.
Indeed.
All right, which one do you want to start with?
In order, I guess. First floor.
Yes, let's work our way down.
Okay, so
There was one where that ornery ghost was, I believe.
mhm.
Are we feeling up to confronting another stubborn specter?
I mean, I am very, loaded to the brim with magic missiles, so I think we can take it.
If you all allow me to go in first, I can try to negotiate with the thing.
Yeah. We all know how you negotiate with ghosts.
Right. I will contain myself and maintain all decorum and politeness.
Well, if you feel up to that, then sure.
I mean, I think last time I tried to do that, it didn't go so well. Be my guest.
Yes.
Ottardo
Well,
has
you
has
see, I have a certain special empathy with undead, which may aid me in this very specific issue.
Well, they seem the kind to know about this particular conundrum.
Ottardo has a little moment of realization. We found some sort of lantern last time. I think it is with Augrael.
Oh, that's right.
Could it fit here?
No, that lantern is like a handheld bullseye lantern, and the lantern here on top of the tower would be much bigger.
Okay.
So you want to get to the library level again? And I will move you over here. Find ourselves right here in the one of the collection rooms. And I put you right in front of the door where that scriptorium is. And you know that on the other end of this, a damned soul languishes.
Oh, now that I think about it, this ability only works on mindless undead. I'm not entirely sure if a ghost that is stuck in its ways is considered mindless or not. I mean, it's mindlessly doing the same thing day in and day out. I guess we'll find out.
Worth a try.
All right, you open the door. Once again, I'll tell you a little bit about it. Hold on a second here. The room is lined with tables and divided up into several narrow carrels with old wooden chairs pushed in against them. And upon the tables there are stacks of paper, old and tattered books, dry inkwells, and brittle writing quills. There's a skeleton to the south, dressed in still shiny-looking chain shirt, just kind of slumped on the floor, and it's clutching something in its bony hands. And as you move into the room, after a few moments, a spectral figure appears, just kind of stepping out of the wall, and she like walks around, even though her feet aren't visible, but going through the motions as if moving. And she turns her gaze at you through just like fully blue eyes, no irises or pupils visible. She sees you, and she snaps at you, and she says, "What are you doing out of your chair? There's much work to do. Go, back to work." And she waits for you to follow her order.
Well, yes, of course. There is much work to be done. But you see, in order to continue the work, there's something I need to get from that room just behind you. Cannot get the work done unless we get in that room. So you see, I'm actually complying with you right now.
Scribes have no. Scribes are not allowed back there. You have everything you need.
Oh, not allowed.
What could you possibly need from the annex or from the room next door?
The annex. Yes, the annex, of course. Right. Well, uh, perhaps you could tell me more about what's in there, because then I can tell you what I need from it.
You want to roll a deception?
It's just I seem to have forgotten, and perhaps you could fill me in the annex. Right, the annex. That is this a secret roll or a public roll?
You can roll publicly. That's fine.
Does undead empathy? No, technically all it does is let me make an impression, and it only works on mindless undead. So I don't know how that counts here, but I'll roll the deception.
All right. Let me see her perception DC. Okay. This is so stupid. Her deception DC is 27. And she just she says like, well, of course you don't know what's in there since you're not allowed in there. But what would you possibly need from our collection of most valuable books?
Oh, yes, of course. Well, you see, that's part of the issue. Is I can see how you would have confused me for one of your scribes being hooded and cloaked and such, but I'm actually a porter, a servant sent from the lower levels, and I do in fact need to get into some of those special books on uh, Miss Lady B's request, of course.
And she like cocks her head as you say, like, you're a servant sent from below. And she says, "Did Corlock send you?"
Can I like perception check her, like send smoke with this?
Yeah, of course. And I'll have that blind. Yeah, you like, should I be or should I not be? And you have a really hard time reading her. I mean, she's a ghost, and what doesn't help is that, like, during the conversation, her face kind of shifts back and forth from being the face you would expect someone to have in this conversation, like in terms of the
Mhm.
expression, and then every now and then it just shifts to like this wailful scream. Um, and then it shifts, but just for a split second before it becomes her regular face again. And you can't get a read on her.
Okay.
So it's a coin toss.
He's like, oh, Corlock. I mean, Corlock. Well, we all know how Lady Belcor feels about Corlock. Let's not worry so much about Corlock. This is a command right from the very top.
All right, I will ask for another deception check here.
I'm gonna hero point that.
All right.
Oh my god.
No.
All right. Okay, she becomes very suspicious, as you can tell. And she says, "If Corlock thinks that he can mess with his contract, then he needs to think twice about that. He has his work cut out for him, and so do you. So get back to work, or I will make you."
Mm. I beg your pardon, madame, but you shan't be making me do anything.
And he is going to basically attack her. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. He's gonna attack her.
All right. I mean, do you want to switch to intimidate for initiative, or just go with perception?
If you'll let me intimidate, I'll do that.
Well, I'll even let you use deception if you will, because.
I'd rather use intimidate.
Okay. All right, and everyone else can just roll their regular perception.
Yeah. Ooh, I like those steely looking dice.
So did we get Lucas' perception in here?
I rolled a 22.
Yeah, can you hit the? Or I think I can do that. Here we go. That work?
sorry,
Yes, it did. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So you kind of like growl at her, being standoffish a little bit, and before you get a chance to act, she moves towards you very quickly. It feels like, and just starts like wailing, and I will ask you to do a will save. And let's see real quick here. Yes. Wow. Okay. All three of you out there in the collection room also need to roll that save. So all of you need to roll because you all hear it. Souma fails. Birke fails.
Is it
Hmm?
is it a fear effect?
It is not. Ottardo fails. Okay. Well, quite fittingly, Lucca makes it. Everyone else fails. So that means that Birke is slowed, Ottardo is slowed, and Soma is slowed. So what happens is you hear that wailing cry of despair, and it's just sadness overcomes you. You feel this like very overpowering sense of a missed opportunity, and it just slows you down because you're kind of in your head about it for a brief moment, and that makes you slowed one. Lucca, you don't mind, and you're okay. So that was her first two actions, and then as her third action, yeah, as I said, she like moves towards you, wailing as she goes. Let me double check that she doesn't have any auras or anything on her. It doesn't seem like she does. Okay, so that's that. And Birke, your turn.
So I lose one action.
Yes, you only have 2 actions this turn, but then at the end of your round, the slowed goes away.
Okay, so I'm going to hunt prey.
Hold on, sorry if that might not be true. No, that is true. Okay, yep, you mark her as your hunted prey.
Yep.
And you can give me an occultism or religion check, or if you have a lore check, that might make sense.
No, I don't know much about ghosts, but religion, well, I might have heard a thing or two. And I gain +2 circumstance bonus to recall knowledge because of my outwit.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm doing this correctly. Nope. And I think that's it for bonus. Wait, no. Does Monster Hunter give me something extra? No, right?
Well, I mean, pretty sure she's some kind of ghost, which means she's incorporeal and a spirit, an undead spirit of some kind. But other than that, it's hard to say.
Okay. And for my second action, I will move here. And
All
I
right.
think that's it for my turn.
It is, and then you can remove the slowed condition. Ottardo.
Ottardo will start moving. Can he stand there? No, he cannot. So we'll stop there. Well, he is. It is incorporeal, so he's going to just walk through her. So he'll just take 2 moves.
Is that right? You can just walk through her square if she's incorporeal?
That's what I assume, but normally it would be an acrobatics to tumble through.
Yeah. It can pass through. The corporeal and incorporeal can pass through one another, but they can't end their movement in each other's space. Okay, that was perfectly fine. All right, you also lose the slowed condition. Lucca, your turn.
Okay. What does this actually do? Um. I'm gonna try. I don't know. I've never actually cast this in combat, so we'll see how this goes. Lucca's gonna be like, hey, there's no need for all this. I mean, we're all undead here. And he's going to cast Charm on her at 2nd level.
You cast Charm on her, okay. Dum, dum. Let's see that. Okay, so you 2 actions has the incapacitation trait.
I did cast it at 2nd level, so hopefully she's CR4 or lower.
Crit succeeds,
Of course she does.
unaffected. And aware you tried to charm her, okay.
Well, shit.
3rd action.
Well, if that won't work, we'll go the other way. We're all undead here, which means I know all of your weaknesses and will use them against you. He's gonna try to intimidate her, demoralize her.
Okay. That is enough. And as you say, like, we're all undead here, you see her being taken aback by that a little bit. And then you try to intimidate her, and she actually seems to be affected by that, and she looks at her spectral hands as if she's noticing them for the first time. And again, like there's these episodes of just screaming, wailing faces rushing over her visage, and it's like it's dawning on her apparently for the first time that she's dead. And it's Soma's turn.
Lucca, before his turn ends, Luca's gonna call out. He's like, "Oh, keep her distracted. You get the door open."
Yeah, meanwhile, as a sense of supernatural.
Soma?
Yes, yes. Do you hear me? Hello?
Karnas, are you with us?
Yes, I am with you.
Apparently
I
not.
can't hear you.
I will
No.
reconnect. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as a sense of supernatural regret washes over Soma, she comes to realization how regrettable it would be to use magic missile with only 2 actions. So instead of doing that, she will produce her flute and inspire courage.
All right. How many actions is that?
1 action to get a flute, 1 action to inspire courage.
Okay. And then afterwards, you're no longer slowed. So everyone grab the spell effect. And then it is the ghost's turn. Yeah, and like I said, she was apparently realizing for the first time that she's dead, and she once again unleashes that despairing cry. And Lucca, you don't have to save again because you already saved successfully and you're temporarily immune. But everyone who hasn't, which is everyone else, needs to roll that save again, please. Nice. Okay. Okay.
Ooh, Ottardo is going to hero point.
Okay, that seems like a good idea.
Wow.
Ooh.
And worse. Okay, so Ottardo, you are slowed twice. Slowed 2. Soma, you are slowed 1. Birke, you're fine. And Lucca was immune anyway. All right, so that was that. And I guess then she uses her third action to strike at Lucca. Let's see if she hits. Just yep, she does. But she like viciously reaches out for you, apparently realizing her powers. And she like maybe Lucca doesn't even really defend himself. She gets a good hold of him, and she like puts all of her void energy into it, and it doesn't have the slightest effect on him because it's all void damage.
Oh, he doesn't take damage.
And then it's Birke's turn.
Okay, so Birke, standing behind the bones of Lucca, sorry, will try and punch through the ghost with her disarm because it's magic, so it should technically work. Hopefully.
Well, she'd still have resistance. It wouldn't work fully, but it also wouldn't be useless. So it's kind of in between.
Yeah. So here we go.
That is a hit. Okay, it's a good stab. Oh, why did that happen twice? That was not supposed to. Huh? And it now reverted it twice. I'm confused. Let's see that again. Okay. Yeah, so you stab past Lucca and you manage to hit the ghost and meet some resistance, and that's a good start.
Okay, wisps of ectoplasmic vapor swish through the air as I stab away. And I'll keep stabbing at it.
Okay. That is another hit.
Aha!
And another good amount of damage.
And is there something more productive that I can do in my turn for one action?
Do you have ranks in Intimidate? You could try that again.
Intimidate? Oh yeah.
Or does, I mean, Demoralize should still work, right? Well, but you're not trained in it, so it's probably not worth it. No, you could try to position yourself differently, take cover, something like that.
I think the ghost is otherwise preoccupied. I will try to intimidate it.
Okay. What do you?
And I just like
Is
stutter and say nonsensical things. And, you wispy, stupid incorporeal thing. To, I guess, no effect at all.
Yeah, exactly. Ottardo.
Ottardo has only one action to spend, which he will use by swinging his warhammer. Let me target first.
You strike and you do some damage. And she takes some of it. And that's your turn. But you lose the slow 2 condition entirely. Doesn't
Entirely,
go down.
okay.
Doesn't go down to 1. It just goes away. Lucca.
Oh, that's fine. We'll do this the straightforward way. Yes. Woman, we've been through all this before. Perhaps you don't remember because you're just a stupid, stuck in your ways ghost. But yes, wallow in your existential dread and all that.
And he's going to try to. Is this incapacitation? It is not. He's going to try to command it.
Okay.
He's specifically trying to command it to flee, I suppose. Like go off into a corner and cry, okay, just critically
Sorry about that.
succeed. It's fine.
1 action left.
I don't think I can intimidate it again, so let's see. I'm just going to well, it's incorporeal. I think it can go around me anyway if it wants. I'm just gonna make a little more room. Come in here.
Okay. Souma.
Okay. I think.
We can't hear you once again.
What? Hello? Hello? Hear
Yep.
me now?
Yep.
Okay. I think let's repeat that, except Soma will use her defense. Because if she will gonna wail in, I kind of want those save bonuses. And for her next action, she will actually produce the Hunter's Brooch from her pockets.
Okay. Nice. All right, that's your turn, and then it's the ghost again, and she still apparently like coming to terms with that realization. She turns around, and maybe she senses Ottardo's holy aura and feels drawn to it somehow, and it aggravates her on some instinctual level, and she targets Ottardo, reaches out,
Oh my
and
God, what are these rolls?
and
Holy shit!
Let me think here for 1 second. If I use, that would be... Okay, yeah, he is going to use... Can he use his shield against void? I guess he can, against void damage. right?
It doesn't make sense to me if you could.
Okay, well, in that case, he just gets zapped.
All right, so yeah, so she reaches out and she just it seems to drain you of your essence, and then follows up with yet another wailful cry. So everyone who hasn't saved yet, which I believe is still
Oh, it's physical
Soma.
damage. Okay.
I believe it's Soma and Ottardo need to save. Nice. Okay. All right, Soma, you are once again slowed 1, so you still have that on you, so don't remove it. And that's her turn, Birke.
From my distance, and I'm gonna keep stabbing at it.
Yeah, it's a good position to be in. Nice hit. Oof, that is a good amount of damage, and yeah, you can see her become like even more ephemeral, as you seem to be close to destroying her manifestation.
Okay, so I'm gonna press on the attack. Oh no!
Getting cocky.
And yeah, in desperation.
Sometimes,
Ooh,
sometimes pays off. All right, let's see that crit damage.
There we go.
Okay, and she takes that damage, but is not yet destroyed. Ottardo.
See its form almost dissipating.
Yeah,
Not
Yeah.
there yet.
exactly right. Ottardo.
Ottardo has all 3 of his actions. So he is going to lay hands on himself. Then for his second action, he is going to raise his fancy new shield. And he will finish off by attempting to strike the ghost.
For the rockfish! There you go, crit. Oh wait, okay, and yes, indeed, bringing up the rockfish shield, maybe even in a way that like, almost as if you were to use it against her, and she kind of like seems confused about it, but then it's the hammer that comes down on her that really takes her out, and she just kind of goes dissipating as you strike her. And that's the end of that encounter. You earn some XP here. Sorry.
That was a lot of critical successes on both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure was. All right, that's 60 XP for each of you. And we may need to pick up the pace a little bit because I have to end early. So let's just go through the explorations here a little faster, and we can deal with healing afterwards.
Mhm.
I mean, there are obviously the books here, and then there's the skeletal remains in the corner. And the books, there are a couple of interesting looking ones, and feel free to grab those off the loot sheet. In the southern corner, there's also a couple of interesting things. First of all, the skeleton's chain shirt, as I said, was still gleaming, and as you learn, it is a +1 chain shirt. There's also in this, like kind of lodged in the skull, there's a crafter's eyepiece. There's also, the creature is still clutching, as I said, it was clutching something, and what it turns out is a portrait that has a tiny gold plaque at the base, and it reads Volug Azrene, and it has endured the passage of time remarkably well. Also, there's a gold paperweight and a little key in among the remains. Yeah, so feel free to grab all that. And then you also find the door that leads you to the annex, which is a small room, yet another scriptorium, you would say. But this one seems to be obviously more private. And there's a work table here that's covered with blank scrolls and papers sitting against the eastern wall of the room. There's also a cabinet with several closed drawers that stands to the north. There are a total of 5 drawers, and as you will learn, the key that you found on the skeleton opens those doors easily. And inside, oh, they didn't include a loot sheet here. Hold on. So there should be 2 bulk valuable books for Molibint. So you could add those. And there's one more thing you discover. And for that, I'll need a little more time. So there's all sorts of scrolls on the desk, but most of them are actually blank. So it just seems to be a pile of like paper for copying things. But one is tucked beneath the others. And it is written in what used to be infernal, and now it is called diabolic.
I don't have it.
Oh, yes, that's me. Sorry. Hold on.
All right, so you can, I mean, it'll take some time to go through that, but you're welcome to choose either of those roles, or you can try both.
Let's see. Well, sure, I'll roll both. Why wouldn't I?
Okay. All right, so this is very interesting, because this is an infernal contract. Maybe some of you don't know what that is. It's essentially when you bind a devil to your services, you set up a contract with them, and usually the devil is the one crafting that contract, and they put in all sorts of tricky language to essentially be able to turn the contract against you and somehow like corrupt your wish for their services in the first place. This contract is about a devil named Corlock that binds him as a guardian. And it is one. Here it is. And you see that he's like the terms of this contract spell out explicitly that he's supposed to guard until released of his services by Belcora herself. And there is, however, as you notice, but thanks to your society roll, there's a loophole in there that actually mentions that if it's kind of like a whatever comes first situation. So either released by Belcora or after 99 weeks and 99 days. So that's interesting. But with that information found, we're going to have to call it a session because I have to run. I'm going to have an Easter dinner sort of thing going on. So
Yeah, thanks for running a game during holiday.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
And happy
Yeah, my
Easter.
pleasure.